Good morning, y'all, and welcome to 10 Minutes with Dr. Bree. Today is February 24th, and we are literally going to be in March by Saturday. As always, February is the month that goes by the fastest to me, not only just because it has the shortest amount of days, but that it just seems to know its own pace. It's not like January that lingers. February says, loose me and let me go. With this in mind, I want to remind you of a few things before we hop into today's podcast. I want to remind you that you can grab your free strategy ebook at briannawhiteside.com. It's entitled Strategic Shifts. And if you haven't yet noticed, I don't even think I knew what I was writing before we got into 2025, but now I understand why people need this ebook. And so if you haven't grabbed it, you can do so. Also, I want you to subscribe to my mailing list or my insiders club to become an insider, because I want to do life with you. Those two things are absolutely free. You can also book your one-on-one strategy session with me, because if you have not noticed, you're going to need a new strategy to survive this year. Let me rephrase that. You're going to need a new strategy to thrive this year. This is an unusual year. I know we say that a lot, but something feels very, very different about 2025. And I haven't quite put my finger on it yet, but I know it's different. And so if you want to get ahead, go ahead and book your one-on-one session with me. And recently I started opening up my private 2-hour one-on-one investment and trading course, which I do live with you. And the reason why I do it live and I don't sell it to you as a pre-recorded course is because I want to make sure you know how to do it. I want you get to ask me questions. You get to stop me. We go at your own pace. Sometimes we go over the 2 hours, and it's totally fine, because the teacher in me wants to ensure that you understand the lesson. And so you can grab that or start booking that if you just go ahead and look in the show notes. Anyway, with that in mind, we're going to talk about money today. We're going to talk about changing your relationship with money. If you're new to my YouTube channel, way before I started doing the kingdom teachings, I was heavy on money. Like, I was talking about money because I was in the midst of a financial journey myself. And I was talking about cash. I was talking about reading charts. Like, I was talking about all those things. Now, those videos are still active on my YouTube page. They're just not categorized. The reason I feel the need to talk about money is that we see in the world that our jobs are not stable. I want to be clear and say your job was never stable. No one's job was ever stable, but we have put our dependence and our trust in our jobs. And I get it. No shade. I did too, and I loved my job. My job paid me well. It's so funny because y'all know I quit my job, and it has been a rocky journey ever since. And I'm going to talk more about that later, but I went from making over $100,000, and I just submitted my tax information to my CPA. Y'all want to know how much I made on paper from a W-2? $37,000. Last year, I made $37,000 because God asked me to leave my job, and I did. Let's use me as an example. If God asked you to leave your job today, could you do it? Could you do it? And it's not that you wouldn't want to do it. Some people couldn't do it because of financial reasons. You don't know how you're going to be able to care for yourself and your family financially. So therefore, money hinders you from obeying God. What's also true is that the average American cannot afford $1,000 car crisis to come up. And let me tell y'all, 2 Mondays ago, I had to get my car fixed, and it was $900. And I just had to pay it. I had to pay it, but the average American cannot. And to be clear, this is not a brag. This is me walking you through how I've had to set myself up for these. Can't even say rainy days, because there's been a few rainy years for me. But I use those two examples to ask you, if these things happen, could you handle them? And if you could not handle them, then you need to change your relationship with money. I know my audience is primarily Christians. I'm going to come down hard on us. I am. Because I am one from among you, and I see the tricks that people are playing with money. Not you, but people who may be in the pulpit or on stages or manipulating the word of God to convince you into giving your last and then walking out on faith to hope that God will come through, and you don't have enough money to take care of yourself. That is not the good news. And let me be clear, unless God has told you to do that, to give your absolute last to a church, I don't think you should be doing it. And I think I'm bold enough to say that it is wrong. It does not show financial stewardship. And it shows that you don't have a full understanding of how money moves in the kingdom. Now, if you would have said, God told me to give my last to the poor, I would probably be more on your side, because the Bible is clear that when you give to the poor, you lend to God. When you do this to the least of these, you do this unto him. But your last, I don't know. Sometimes I ask God, would you ask for my last? And yeah, he will. He will ask for your last. But if a leader is manipulating you into giving more and more and more, and you're barely, making ends meet, and your children don't have food, I can't get behind that. Anyway, let me switch gears a little bit, because I'll be on this topic all day. I want to talk to you about changing your relationship with money, because so many things in our economy are unstable. And if your paradigm is still to only tithe or sow seeds into church hoping for a large increase, your paradigm is wrong, and the world has shifted. And I don't think you have a clear understanding of how money works, the language of money, and how money moves. I didn't either, to be clear, until I started on my financial journey back in 2019, getting out of that 10K of debt. I had to learn about discipline and not doing certain things, and learn how to budget. Like, I had to hunker down. Saving my first 10K in 2020. I had to learn a system. Saving my next 20K. Do you think that came from me sowing seeds? No, I had to partner with money. I had to partner and understand how it moved and what I needed to do. And I had to listen to Holy Spirit for the strategies. He is the ultimate strategist. He is the one who knows everything. And if we are Holy Ghost filled, tongue talking believers, why are we at the bottom of the barrel financially? The math doesn't math. So that means that we've missed something in the formula. We've missed something. And your life needs to change. We need to go back to the basics. We need to go back to the drawing board, and we need to change our relationship with money, especially as it relates to growing money. Getting out of debt and growing money are two different muscles that you have to exercise. They're two different ones. They're both equally difficult, but one requires pure discipline and the other requires a bit of imagination, trust, and a little more research. I want to ask you, what are you investing in? And if it's not money, are you investing your attention into certain systems, people giving information away for free? Are you learning? Are you taking notes? Are you practicing what you're hearing? Or are you just standing by the wayside praying, asking God for a financial breakthrough, not realizing that you're not even positioned for the financial breakthrough because you're not in a system? A few weeks ago, I talked about Isaac sowing in the land and reaping 100-fold. He had to invest in a system. And if you're not in a system, if you're not investing in a system, how is the money going to get to you? Is it going to just materialize? Is it going to fall out of the sky if you're not in position? What are you doing? Right. And I get if you want to see me get riled up, see me talk about money, because I believe that people have been lying to well-meaning believers to kind of fleece them, to take their last, and it is wrong. It is wrong. Do you hear me? If you are giving your last to a leader who's living comfortably, and you're just doing it out of religion and not out of revelation, or God didn't specifically tell you to give to this person, what comes upon you, you're going to have to deal with those consequences, y'all. This is what I'm saying. And I'm saying this from a place of love. I'm saying this from a place of emergency. Please pay attention to what you're being taught about money, because sometimes you're just being taught what the previous generation was taught, and sometimes they were just taught wrong. So funny. I remember it was probably 2021, 2022. I was living in Vegas at the time, and I was into investing. It was likely 2021. And I was trying to get my mom to make her first investment. And she was so hesitant because she had never made investments. She, of course, came from the generation, you work hard, you get a job, you retire, you don't let your money work for you, that generation. And I was like pulling teeth trying to get her to make her first investment. Like, I was pleading with her to make her first investment. After she made her first investment, she was ready. She started seeing gains. She started seeing how money moves, because that's how it goes. You learn more information and you see the proof that is in the pudding. And then you make a decision to say, I need to change my relationship with money. Now my mom is financially stable, financially secure. She tells me all the time, I didn't think certain financial goals were possible for me. Literally, she was afraid the first time. But I'm like, Mom, we've been taught wrong. Mom, you got to get out of this system. This system is keeping you on this merry-go-round. It's not this. We're on the wrong ride. We're on the wrong ride. And, it took a little bit of time. But once she decided that she was going to trust me and understand that I wasn't going to lie to her, she started making money. And when I tell you my mom be out here making money, she's making money, right? And, we laugh about it now because a few years ago, I taught her my 101 investment class for free. She my mom. I ain't gonna charge her. I taught her my course for free, and she didn't use the information. So now she see me making this money. She like, oh, I need to do another course. This one gonna cost you. This one gonna cost you, ma'am, because I sit there and did that stuff with you for free and you didn't use the information, and I went one-on-one with you and it was so much longer than the 2 hours and you didn't use the information. Now you gotta pay because I gave it to you for free and you did not value it. So I'm so sorry, Mom. You're gonna have to make that investment. And we laugh about it now because she be like, I don't want to hear it. Okay. You didn't want to hear it then. Now you're going to hear it from your pockets. But we laugh about it because sometimes, when someone is introducing you to new information, it sounds too good to be true. And when I was first introduced to investment and trading, I was like, there's no way these people are making this type of money in this system. And I was hesitant and I was skeptical and I was dragging my feet until I realized, oh, no, they are really making the money. Because I started making the money, right? And I had to realize certain information you were just kept out of. And some systems, particularly the financial systems, keep Black and brown people out of them. I'm just going to be clear and say that. They're designed to keep Black and brown people out, which means that if you can't participate in a system, you can't reap the benefits of that system, right? Which keeps you on a different hamster wheel. This is the same in religious circles. It keeps you on a hamster wheel while the people at the top get better and more financially secure, and you're sitting there still praying and begging and all of the things. Do you think God is playing favoritism? No, you've tapped into a system in a way that will not favor you. Now, I'm not saying defund the church. Hear me? I'm not saying that. I like what the church do. I like when people are, financially responsible and doing the right thing. But I am saying I want you to think about your relationship with money. If you lost your job tomorrow, because you don't know, would you be able to survive? And if you tell me no, it's time for you to change your relationship with money. Because there was a time in my life that was true for me. And then I walked away from my job. We're about to be in the 9th month. And I'm like, wow, you have not had a job in 9 months. Okay. But I just needed to get on here, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I needed to get on here because things are changing so rapidly in the world, and we as believers are generally the last ones behind, the last ones to catch up, and it's not right. That's not our inheritance. That's not who we should be. And so you need to change your relationship with money, whether it be listening to free lectures or podcasts, whether it's buying books, right? No one mentored me one-on-one on money. I had to buy books. I had to pay for certain things to figure out what was good and what was not good. Or are you, buying books, or are you investing in live courses? I never tell people to invest in prepaid courses or courses that you can take home, because 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to use them. It's different when you're in a classroom with someone learning one-on-one with them, as opposed to just, here's the pre-recorded information. How are you going to ask your question? Oh, that's another charge. Okay, great. Anyway, I'm about to sign off because I need to go to the gym. I did not go to the gym on Saturday and Sunday, and I need to go. So as a reminder, grab your strategy ebook. It's free, Strategic Shifts, and sign up for my mailing list at BriannaWhiteside.com. If you need a one-on-one strategy session, you can grab that at BriannaWhiteside.com. And if you want to hop on my calendar for investing and trading and trade and learn the stuff that I learned with somebody that you already trust, because you trust me to speak into your life every week, you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes, or if you're on YouTube, it's right in the description box. I'm going to talk to you later. I want you to ask God what you need to be doing with your money this quarter. And it's only 1 month left in this quarter. I want you to ask God, and I want you to listen. I want you to listen and respond. I'll talk to you soon in another installment of 10 Minutes with Dr. Bree. If you haven't liked the podcast on YouTube, please like it. And if you have not left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do so. It'll really help me out. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.